for 8.1 and 8.2, we looked at multiplying integers. We started by modeling different types of multiplication to be able to understand where the rules that we came up with second were actually coming from. So first we looked at just a simple multiplication statement that we're used to seeing. We're looking at 3 times 5. Okay, we said, well, 3 times 5 means that I have 3 groups of 5, right? And we also said that that was the same thing as saying 5 times 3. There are 5 groups of 3, mean the same thing. Okay. So when we modeled that, we needed 3 groups of positive 5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another group. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's another group. So we have 1 group of 5, 2 groups of 5, 3 groups of 5. And in total, okay, that gave us 15 positive circles. Okay, or positive 15. Okay, so that was nice. And we said, okay, well, that's what 3 times 5 means. Okay, but what happens is instead of 3 times 5, okay, it's 3 times negative 5. Okay, well now that answer is going to be a bit different. So now still 3 groups of, but it's no longer positive 5. It's going to be negative 5. Okay, so our diagram isn't necessarily correct. Okay, we need 3 groups of negative 5. Okay, so if I replace these, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's negative 5. Okay, because our red ones were positive and our blue ones are negative. Okay, or in our class we use red and black. Okay, with our counters, we mean the same thing. Okay, so we need 5 negative blue counters in 3 groups. Okay, just like we did with the positives on the first one. Okay, so now when we look at this diagram, okay, we have 1 group of negative 5. Okay, so this is negative 5, this is negative 5, and this is negative 5. And we also said that we can do addition statements this way. Negative 5 plus negative 5 plus negative 5. Okay, well that's going to give me negative 15 squares. Okay, so positive times this negative gave us negative 15 or negative answer. Okay, we also know that 3 times negative 5 is the same thing as negative 5 times 3. Okay, we said they're the same thing, so you can flip multiplication. Okay, but we would be able to show these a little bit differently. Okay, the last thing that we talked about was, well, what if those first couple, they make sense, they're straightforward. Okay, what happens when I have negative 3 times negative 4? Or sorry, let's use the numbers we've been working with. Negative 3 times negative 5. Okay, and so when we look at these two, we say, well, negative 3 times negative 5, we have to make the sentence first. We said, because this value is negative, I'm no longer adding 3 groups. Okay, I'm taking away 3 groups. And it's no longer positive 5, but I'm taking away 3 groups of negative 5. So negative means I'm taking away 3 groups of, and then negative 5. Okay, if this is a positive 5, I could have done it the exact same way, except I've taken away positive 5. Okay, but the thing about taking away is I need to start with something. I need to start with something to take away. Okay, so let's make 3 groups of negative 5. Okay, well, we've made those already. So that's nice. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm just going to line them up so it's a bit easier for you to see. Okay, what we're actually going to do. Okay. So all together there, move this one out of the way. We have 15 blues. Okay, that's what we're starting with. And we have 3 groups of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another group. So that's 3 groups of -5. Okay, but all together, this gives us -15. Right? Well, -15, we can't just start with -15 because if we take it away, we end up with 0. Okay? We always need to start at 0. So we talked about in class as well, how do I get from -15 to 0? How can I start at 0? Well, we said -15, we add +15, that'll give us 0. So we added what we called 0 pairs. Okay, by adding positives to each circle, we created what we call 0 pairs. And we said, okay, well, when I look at this positive and this negative, a +1 and a -1, this gives me 0. Okay? And then this here, that gives me 0 as well. Okay? If we go all the way down now, together, this whole thing is 0. So we're starting off at the value of 0. Okay? Now that I'm at 0, now that we're at nothing, right? We're starting with nothing. Okay, now from here, okay, I can do my equation, I can do my multiplication statement, but now I actually have little circles to take away. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this sentence right here. Taking away 3 groups of -5. Okay, well, here we have circled 1 group of -5. We're going to take that away. Okay, here we have another group of -5. Take it away. And here we have another group of -5. Take it away. So at the end, when we've taken away all of these, right, all that we're going to be left with is this 15 positive red chips. Okay, because red means positive, we have 15 of them, so we have 15 positives. Okay. For a multiplication statement, -3 times -5 is +15. Okay, and then finally, what we can look at is say, okay, well, for a last question, what if I had -5 times +3? And we looked at that and we said, okay, well, this is the same thing. I can demonstrate this in the exact same way. All right, I am taking away 5 groups of +3. Okay, taking away 5 groups of +3. So first you would have to make 5 groups of +3. You'd have to do the same thing. You have to make 0. You can't start with +15. Right? And then at the end, when we take those positives away, what we'd be left would be 15 negative chips. Okay, so you could show this question or this statement the same way that we just demonstrated the last one. Okay? Basically, we're trying to create 0 pairs. We're trying to start with 0, with nothing, right? And then from there, we can take away the groups that we need.